Welcome. This is David Boles, Human Meme. Today's topic: Scenes from an American Monarchy. Fade in.
Scene 1. The streets.
A young man, waving a red and white flag in the middle of an urban street, is arrested and shot in the leg by the peacekeepers for protesting too much. As a riot rises, the call comes in from the tower to start the solution, and the cities and the streets are quickly aglow in fiery asphalt and screams as the dead become the unliving, categorized as such to keep down the death numbers of the revolutionaries numbing the streets. "Keep the fist to fight the tower," was the chanted battle cry in the night.
Scene 2. The tower.
Reports come in from the streets and the villages that the people are rioting, even though some of them have been turned to glass. Food is rationed. The people are not allowed to leave their homes. All the banks are closed, all assets frozen. There is no press coverage, only PR from the tower that tells people what they know and only what they need to know. The monarch calls for a hot strike in a major American urban core. "Let them all see," he says aloud, "how it feels to live as a piece of crystal drinkware." His cohorts sniggle. The order is given, carried out, without a whim. Cities are now unlivable, poisoned for the next 20 centuries. "Own the night," the monarch growled, "and you own the nightmare."
Scene 3. A diner.
Shen, a refugee from the Far East, enters a local diner in a faraway town with her native-born citizen boyfriend. One diner shouts at Shen above his mashed potatoes, "We don't serve slanty eyes here. Get out and go back to Yellowland." Hey, Shen's boyfriend says. "There's no need for that talk here. This is Shen, and she would like to be your friend." Shen steps forward and offers her open hand to her insulter. The dining man blushes and drops his head and shakes Shen's hand. Yeah, good to meet you, Shen," he says. Shen shakes his hand and replies, "Likewise, I am happy to be your friend."
Scene 4. An empty field.
The revolutionaries, all injured and bleeding and knowing their lives will soon be extinct due to residual poisoning, plot to overthrow their democratically elected monarch. Carl, a tall, lithe American Indian, now with burn marks covering his face, stands in the dimming of the day and says, "We are all in danger. None of us will live. How many lives do we have to give to what our nation once was?" The others gather around Carl and hold him up as he dies in their arms.
Scene 5. The sky.
The morning above once bright with white clouds and a cyan cyclorama, blackens, and hundreds of gray drones fill the sky and bring night into day. The drones above are fitted with cameras and guns and bombs, and they shoot first and ask no questions later. The drones used to only write parking tickets and deliver street justice to drug dealers without an actual trial. But now these drones, reprogrammed and powered with artificial intelligence, hunt down the citizens of the land in order to keep all domestic terrorism where it belongs, dead in the ground and looking up at the tower.
Scene 6. The Takeover.
The revolutionaries, all carrying mirrors on their backs and on their heads to reflect back the predator eyes into the blackened sky, race into the city core to attack the tower. They clamber upstairs. They tear down windows. They fight their brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers who all vowed to protect the monarch at any cost and for any price. The people, tired of being ignored, living only to pay taxes, taxes that were taken to keep the monarch forever grounded in his silvery tower. And the monarch, now fatter but out of resources, he used all his bombs to devastate faraway cities, as far away from the tower as possible, because he didn't want to get his hands dirty locally, because he didn't want to actually wash his hands with a tiny soap. And so the people's business became their own will, as they pulled every brick and rivet and steel beam from the tower, so it would all crash down, just like the walls of Jericho before it, and leave evil in a heap of concrete dust and wetted ash. And the people would resurrect from the fire, searching for meaning and accomplishment in a world that was suddenly brighter and freer than it had been only an instant before. Our protest was just so easy, one revolutionary said aloud, to just do one thing that caused another 1,000 things to carry on.
Scene 7. The Return.
As the morning dew wept with glee at finally seeing the dawning sun again, the people of the world were happy again to be reunited and cemented in purpose and perspective. And while they danced in the streets and sang into the heavens, a single gloved hand. The glove was slightly smaller than a large, reached up from the rubble of the tower, holding a gun, and, aiming at the sky, fired a single shot into the air, indicating the beginning of the beginning of the end, of the start of the end, of the beginning of the end, of the monarch's rising revenge. Fade out. Thank you for listening. Be a human meme.